What brought us together about 2 years ago was a group of technologists, peace builders, academics, and policy influencers asking exactly this question. What if technology fostered trust and collaboration instead of driving polarization and violence? And we built this on the back of organizations that had for years been doing work in this space. Organizations like the Integrity Institute, which brings together technologists who've worked in trust and safety and civic integrity teams. The Center for Humane Technology that produced that very famous film called The Social Dilemma, which really raised people's awareness to the challenge and harms of algorithms. The Civic Health Project that's been doing bridging work. The Prosocial Design Network, who's really been surfacing evidence around these prosocial design. And the Psych of Tech Institute at the USC Marshall School, really understanding the psychology of the human-computer interaction, as well as Search for Common Ground and Build Up and other organizations doing on-the-ground peace-building work. And today I would say that as 65 members of the Council across 22 countries, there's three things that I want to highlight that we believe to be true. First, that tech design is not neutral, that every choice about a like, a click, a recommender system is actually shaped by incentives that drive oftentimes the profit for that digital platform. Second, that tech design influences our behavior. It affects how we see ourselves and others. It inflames fears. It makes us feel a certain way about other groups of people. And it can also diminish our curiosity and our ability to work through difference. And then lastly, the more that we've understood the issues, we realize that the challenge of tech and social cohesion is both upstream and systemic. And while many efforts on content moderation, fact-checking, and digital literacy are valid and can be actually effective, they often treat the symptoms and cannot alone address the core issues. And this image here, you'll see kind of very simply says what we see as our perspective around many people seeing that digital harms are from bad people, bad users, and that we should content moderate, remove the content, censor people's voices. And the core idea behind the Council on Tech and Social Cohesion is that these digital harms are enabled, accelerated, and often incentivized by platform design, and that can be changed and regulated. So I want to end by just pointing your attention to something we came out with last month after more than a year of consultations across the globe with diverse stakeholders across different technology, peace-building academic sectors, called the Blueprint on Prosocial Tech Design Governance. This really gives a very comprehensive set of recommendations based on these three interconnecting forces. The first about prosocial design, the other about the necessity of accountability and transparency, and the third related to market forces. So the first one about prosocial design is really calling for us to realize that platform design, just like any other industry, needs standards. It needs safety standards, but it also needs a set of standards that could be certified and incentivized for platforms to meet them, that speak to its impact on social cohesion. And that together with those standards, we want to see more ethical design experimentation that looks not only at some of the more distinct harms, but also look at the effect of these digital platforms on building trust and collaboration. The second is really about the transparency and accountability of the relationship between the public and these digital platforms. And so the second set of recommendations out of our blueprint calls for more transparency around algorithms, design decisions, and the societal impacts. It talks about protecting researchers and enabling that access to be by default available so that the public can understand the choices as consumers that they're making in using these platforms. And then thirdly, again, that we look beyond just trying to understand what the harms are, harassment or TFGVV, looking at how can we measure the impact of these platforms on social cohesion, as well as other metrics. And lastly, we recognize that many of the reasons why we've gotten to the place that we have today is because of the market incentives driving engagement and profit through these digital platforms. And so there's a set of recommendations in the blueprint which talks about competition policy and addressing the monopolies that often prevent other technologists, of which I'm sure many we have here today with us, to be able to build better designed platforms. Secondly, to really understand how legislatively or in other types of rewards and sanctions that we're able to have greater liability when platforms are causing predictable or systemic harm. And then lastly, and this is really a through line through the council, we can build something better if we choose to invest in public interest tech ecosystems that really focus on civic health, that focus on social cohesion, and ways in which that can be embedded into a digital public infrastructure. So I'm going to stop there and say that I'm absolutely thrilled and honored that today's expo is being co-hosted with Dignity and Difference. Dignity and Difference founders have been pioneers in developing new tools to reduce digital harms and creatively incentivize trust through technology. Their work is based on principles and ethics, but highly practical. And so I couldn't be more pleased to be hosting this together with Himanshu, Hamida, and the entire team at Dignity and Difference. And let me turn it back over to you.